Hi guys, it's me, Jackie. So for the last couple weeks I've told you I've been going to do a class, and the class you voted on was cord clearing. To start this, I want to share with you, this is a very long class when I teach it. It's usually 3 hours. And I'm condensing it for you because nobody wants to sit through a 3-hour video. So note that some of this is going to be rushed or condensed down. And I also want you to know that I took workshops 20 years ago, 15 years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago. I took another one maybe 6 years ago. I've read several books. So this information is not my own. It's universal knowledge and collected knowledge. Just wanted to say that to you straight out front. Cord clearing. So what are cords? Cords are etherical energy connections, and you get those when you have a connection with somebody that's longer than, say, your grocery store clerk. You're typically not going to connect with anyone that you're just having a brief connection with, but it could be a coworker, a spouse, ex-boyfriend, significant others that are from your past or in your current, parents, abusers, perpetrators, bullies. A coworker that has belittled you will connect to you, and those things, when we are connected by something that's negative, they produce this feeling in us, and it stays with us. And we go on to the next thing. Let's just use a job for an example. We go to the next job and we are feeling inadequate. We're not good enough. We're not capable. And it puts us in two things. It allows us to feel as if we're the victim. So we're constantly on the lookout for our next bully, the next person that's going to pick on us, because we've already established that we're the target. And the other thing is it does not allow us to move forward because we're stuck in that feeling of unworthiness. So if we can cut those ties into that relationship that you've created with that person, you can move forward in that job and be the best version of you. You can also cut ties with something so traumatic that has definitely colored your life. The other traumatic things that happen to us can be sexual abuse, emotional abuse, or physical abuse from our parents or a perpetrator. We carry that wound with us for the rest of our life, and with good counseling, with good time, with good healing, and our own work, we can resolve some of that. But there's still a cord connection until you clear it. So whenever something brings up that trauma, it's like refreshing it all over again, and there you are right back in that moment. And you're thinking, well, I thought my counseling worked. Well, your counseling did work. It's just that cord's being tugged just a little bit. So by clearing it, and if you do it correctly, you can permanently clear it. But for these deep wounds, it usually takes 2 or 3 tries, sincere tries, to pull it out and to alleviate it. The other thing with cord clearing is that you will be able to clear the negative attachment to somebody, so you can still maintain the positive connection. So let's say you're in a relationship with your boyfriend, and the beginning of the relationship may have been toxic or unhealthy, and you're like, but this part's wonderful. Well, that negative that is still there, and you don't want it anymore. You don't want to bring that baggage forward. You can remove the old negative feeling or the old track and pull it out and relieve it, and then you're moving forward. Your relationship will be better. There's relationships that you have to have that are never going to be okay. Maybe let's just say an ex that is the father of your child or mother that you have to see because of your children. That can be very painful for people to see their exes or ex-in-laws or someone that they're going to run in contact with that they did not necessarily have a great relationship with. By removing those cords, you're not cutting or severing a relationship. You're severing the fact that they have any kind of control over your emotions, your feelings to it. So the next time you bump into them, whether planned or not, you're going to be able to go, how are you? And not go home and go that SOB or be really upset about it, because you're no longer connected to it. It's almost like the wound is completely healed. And that's, in essence, what we're doing, is removing the wound and healing the wound. You can also end those connections in a way that makes it so you're walking away feeling like you did something for you, because the work that you do on yourself and for yourself is the most powerful work you can do. So even that person who's, attached themselves to you in that dark way, they're going to walk away better, because they're going to see you differently, because you're no longer coming at them angry or bitter or, feeling hatred. The perpetrator that has done some real ill to you, you never have to acknowledge them or be in their space. That's not what this is about. This isn't about, oh, that person that really deeply hurt me, I'm going to all of a sudden be fine. It's not about that. This is taking away the pain so you don't carry it forward with you. There's that saying, I don't know who it actually came from, but, drinking poison and hoping the other person dies is like carrying around resentment and anger. You're carrying that around, you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting them. So it's about healing yourself for yourself. So some people call it cord cutting. So you have that etherical cord. Imagine it like a cord when you play music. There's that cord. It creates a vibration, which creates frequency. So you're vibrationally connected to that person. And you want to let go of that. So you want to pull it out. Well, some people will say, cut it. Well, what happens when you cut down a tree? You have a stump, and that stump, can either fester and be rotten, or it'll grow new shoots. It'll just come right back. So if you don't completely remove it, it's going to come back. And some things have taproots. You can pull certain things out of your yard, some weeds, and they'll just come right up, and then you get a dandelion. It's got a taproot this long. It takes time. So that's why sometimes it may take 3 times. It may take more than that. But the point is, if you're doing the work, you are relieving something, because you are working on healing it. So I don't cut cords because I don't want anything to sever. I want to pull it out. I want to think about, if I'm pulling out a root, I'm pulling this out. I am pulling it and I am twisting it. And I'm getting every little bit of it out. All those tendrils, anything that could be attached to me in some way, I want it out. I want it gone. So I think of everything that's from your solar plexus, which is right above your navel. That's where we feel our gut reactions, our pain, everything gets us right in that stomach. That is your solar plexus. Excuse me. In the intuitive world, we know that everything happens here. So you get psychic messages, they come here. You get good things that, you'll feel it and you go, oh, that was so great. I laughed so hard. We all reach to cover it. So this is where everything's attached to us. So we're going to work on removing it from there. So if you think about all the things that we could relieve by getting rid of these cords and not being attached to those negative feelings, you're working on healing yourself. So that's what I want you to think about this as. I am healing myself. So I'm going to walk you through a guided meditation. However, I know most of us need time and space to do a guided meditation. We need that time to spend with it and not rush through it. So know that you can come back to this and revisit it and do it yourself. It doesn't have to be done exactly this way. This is just the way that I find comfortable. This is how I wrote it. I have worked with several clients doing this for them. I had one who told me, oh, it worked so well when I saw my mother-in-law. I almost hugged her. And she had had a very toxic relationship with her mother-in-law. So there's a lot of reasons to do it, but you want to be able to be in any situation and not have anything be invoked in you. No negativity, no sadness, no sorrow. So it's about allowing yourself to move forward for the best of who you are. So I'm going to start by asking you to first call forward who you want to pull the cord on. This could be very painful, and I completely understand that. So if you don't want to do that right now, that's fine. So let's not. Let's do that when you have time to sit, maybe weep and have a moment. I'm perfectly okay with that. So what I would like you to do is to think of a coworker or a friend who has done something that has slighted you, maybe made you feel that they're untrustworthy, or that they have diminished you in any kind of way, and I want you to call them to mind. Bring their full image to your mind. Bring the situation that they have created to mind. And I want you to take a minute and do that. And then the first thing I want you to do is to allow yourself to sit with that. And while you're sitting with it, feel how that feels. Don't ignore any of the feelings. Don't go, oh, this happened. No, sit with it. Feel it. You want to totally bring it up so when you pull it, you're pulling it all the way out. And then know that every time you do this, if you would do it a couple times, it's going to get easier for you. So the hardest ones are going to be the ones that have really wounded us. But then there's going to be other ones that are going to be like, nope, this cord's not mine. I release it. So I want you to do this in sincerity so that it's working for you. You know, like I said, I'm rushing through this because it's a lot of information. I'm going to be attaching some paperwork for you that you can print on your own and go through it again. But know that this is being rushed somewhat, okay? So again, bring up that person that has slighted you, bothered you in some kind of way. Taking a deep breath. And with intent, slowly say to yourself, my intention is to remove connections and cords that no longer serve me. Now visualize your solar plexus. You may even bring your hands to them if you choose to. Now imagine that your solar plexus are slowly opening for you and you see that root, you see that connection, you see that cord to that moment. You don't want that anymore. So I want you to grab a hold of it and start twisting it. It doesn't matter which way you twist it. Some people will tell you it does. I do not feel it that way. When I'm gardening, I just pull. And I want you to pull and keep pulling and pull until you feel it give. It may be a few moments. It may be half an hour. Whatever it takes, feel it release. And then again, sit there for a moment. Is there anything left in there? Did a root break off? Is there more? If there is, go back and start over. If there isn't, now you're ready to move on. So once you get to the point where you're ready to move on, I want you to think about all the good things you want to feel in your body. I am loved, I am worthy, I am capable. And then I want you to seal it closed. Again, either way is fine. One direction is fine, both directions, but you're going to visualize it closed. But while you're doing it, I want you to send pure love. You can send Reiki if you do Reiki. You can send energy healing. Just send love to that area. And take in a deep breath. And release it. And know that all that you are doing is for you. So the work that you do is for you. Remember, if you feel some resistance with this, call your higher powers to help you. You have angels at your beckon that are willing to help you. It's usually when we call in the big guns, the higher help, that it releases faster. So if it's that perpetrator, you probably want to call on your angels, your guides, your masters, the ascended ones to get in here and help you out. You want this gone. No one should be carrying those wounds forward, because when we carry our wounds, we lash out at other people. So I know that I've lashed out at people when I'm carrying a different wound. It's not healthy for me. It's not healthy for them, and it's not where any of us want to be. So cord clearing brings us back to that place of neutrality with something like that, so we can feel so much better about ourselves. Also know that that removed cord that you pulled out, it doesn't come back to you. It doesn't reconnect. It's going to be dissolved by spirit. It's going to be dissolved by the universe. It's going to be gone, so you don't have to worry about that. It doesn't pull the cord out of them. So if they're holding on to anger for you over something, that's theirs. But again, that goes back to that's their wound to carry or their wound to release, because we cannot release somebody else's wounds. I wish we could, because it sure would be easier. So then after you're done holding in that in, sending all that love and closing it, just remember to finish it with prayer and gratitude and tell yourself, thank you for this hard work you're doing. Thank you for trying to make my life better. I am well. I am whole. I am worthy. Another thing you can do is the Ho'oponopono prayer. Ho'oponopono prayer. It's very effective in this situation. Maybe later I'll do a different video on that because it is very, very powerful. But it's thank you, I love you, please forgive me. There's a fourth step that I'm missing. But the general idea is that you're going to release yourself and them from anything. It's a sorry for you and for them. It's really powerful. Look it up, Ho'oponopono. Please do that afterwards. It's very helpful. You can redo this as much as you want and for anything you want, any little cord that you know is bothering you. But what I suggest is whenever you have a negative reaction to someone, in your mind or later after the situation, you might say something like, I allow no cords to connect to me. I don't accept this connection. I will only be connected to those that are here for my highest, best, and greatest good. Now, there are lots of ways to move past cord clearing and move on to healing. But the one thing about cord clearing is it's something, once you learn it and once you work with it, it's in your toolbox forever. And if something starts to rub again in a year, a couple of years down the road, stop and say, okay, I'm going to get it out. I'm going to get this weed out of my garden. Because that's what it is. It's something that infiltrates our mind and we can get rid of it. It's cord clearing. And you do not have to believe in it believe in this for it to work. You only have to know that something is taking effect, because in your mind, you are telling yourself, I don't want to be connected to this anymore. I don't want to live in that vibration anymore. I don't want to be there anymore. So the universe is guided, helping you, removing anything that doesn't serve you anymore. So I will connect the written words down so you can go through it slower with more depth, and I will eventually do the class long form at the church again whenever our church is up and going, and spend more time with you on it and walk you through it. But for now, I just want you to know this is a simple way that you can start working for yourself in your best interest. I love you. I wish you well. I hope that there is nothing that holds you back in this world. Thank you.